Hi everybody, Jeremy here from Video Test Studio. Today I'm going to show you how to create dust and film scratches overlay in Davinci Resolve. So if you're ready, let's check it out. Alright, so in Davinci Resolve right now on the edit page, and here I have a clip in my timeline, and I would like to apply some film and dust scratches on that image. One alternative could be to go on the stock footage website or on YouTube and search for some free film and dust scratches overlay and then apply them in Davinci Resolve. So for example, right now I found this one on YouTube. I've just downloaded, and then when you're back in Davinci, you can simply drag that above your clip and make it fit the resolution on your screen, and then you can just switch the composite mode from normal to screen right there, and it will be blend with your footage, and now you have that film and dust overlay right above your footage. That's probably the quickest and easiest way to do that in any software. But today we're gonna go a step farther, and we're gonna actually create that from scratch in Davinci Resolve. By creating it from scratch in Davinci Resolve, we get a bunch of benefits with it, like changing the color if we want to, from black to white, for example. We can adjust really the blur how we want it, and just also to create those matte that I just used to create that effect. You could just create it one time and then reusing it, saving it in your Power Bin, and simply drag it on top of your footage. So right now we're gonna start by bringing a new adjustment clip, not a fusion composition, because that's just gonna sit right above our footage. I'm gonna extend that adjustment clip to cover my entire footage, and then we're gonna go over to fusion. Once in Fusion, the first thing I want to do is bring a fast noise in. So here I'm gonna hit shift space on my keyboard, and I'm gonna search for fast noise, and I'm gonna bring that fast noise in. Then I'm gonna click on my working area to unselect the fast noise, and I'm gonna hit shift space and bring a second fast noise. We're gonna then hit shift space once more, and we're gonna search for a displace node and bring that in. Now we're gonna link the output of the fast noise to the displace node, and the output of the fast noise 2 to the displace node. And then we're simply gonna select our fast noise 1 and bring it here to the viewer. Then we're gonna increase the detail to the maximum. We're gonna increase the contrast to the maximum. And here we're gonna go to color, and we're gonna increase the alpha channel same to 1. So we can see here we have some black and some white. And we go back to the noise, and then here we're gonna click on discontinuous, and we're gonna bring the brightness to 1.4. And now we're going to increase the seed trace, which is basically the rate of animation. So as you can see now, if we play it, it's static, there is nothing going on. But if we increase the seed rate to the maximum, as you can see now, we have some animation, and those particles are moving. And already right now we're getting to something that resembles what I showed you at the beginning, but they are a bit too clean and too perfect. You know, sometimes you have some long stripes, or you have different artifact, and right now they are too clean in my opinion. That's why we're going to use the displace to just twist them a little bit and making them a bit abnormal. So I'm gonna go to my fast noise 2. I'm gonna bring the fast noise 2 to the viewer. That's what we're gonna use to displace what we've just created. So here I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna go to color, increase the alpha channel up to 1, go back to the noise, increase the detail to the maximum, increase the contrast to the maximum. Then here we're gonna select our displace, and we're gonna bring the displace here to the viewer. Now we're gonna go over to X and Y, and we're gonna increase the X refraction to the maximum. And then here we're gonna decrease the Y refraction by a little bit. And this is basically gonna displace the noise that we've created and get us closer to something that is a bit more chaotic with, as you can see, different stripes and line that are not straight. Like this one, for example, that could be a hair just falling down onto the film negative when it has been scanned. And it's just getting to something that is, you know, a bit more unpredictable. Now you can play around with the X and Y refraction, and you will get a slightly different pattern depending on what you do. And then you can always go back here to your fast noise and make some adjustment to either the brightness or the scale. The brightness, you don't want it to be too low, otherwise that's just gonna start to become something different. So I would say that about 1.3 for me will be the minimum that I would do. After that, it starts to become too big and not convincing. But basically, anywhere between 1.3 to 1.5 seems to be a sweet spot. And that would depend here on the size that you decide to use for your grain. So you could just increase that by a lot. And now, as you can see, there is almost nothing happening on screen. It's very, very subtle. Right now, you probably can't see it with my screen recording, and if you just decrease it, it will basically increase the size of the overall effect, and now those dust and scratches are appearing bigger. Another thing you can do if you go back here to the fast noise and bring it to the screen is unticking lock X and Y, and then here you can adjust those X scale and Y scale individually and get, for example, stripes that are more vertical. So here, if I'm increase this, as you can see, now we have some vertical stripe, and those vertical stripes that we just created, once they are displaced, they are creating more of those, line like this that looks like a hair dropped on the negative. So usually I like to combine one that is lock and then basically duplicate everything and create one with more of those vertical stripe. We're just gonna see that down the line. Right now, let's just move on. I'm gonna select my node and just bring them up to make some space. And then here, we're gonna hit Shift Space on our keyboard and we're gonna search for a bitmap and bring that in. Then we're gonna link the output of the displays to the bitmap. And then here in bitmap, you want to switch the alpha channel to luminance, and then here you want to tick invert, which basically gonna switch what we have right here with a white background and do the opposite with a black background and some white dust. Now I'm gonna bring a merge and I'm gonna place that merge between my media in and my media out, and then we're gonna link the output of that bitmap to the merge. And if I bring the media out to the viewer, as you can see, we have those scratches happening on screen, but they are white. What if you want to have them black? Well, you can simply bring here a background node. You're gonna link the output of the bitmap to the blue arrow of the background node, and then you're gonna link the output of the background node to the green arrow of the merge to bring it back to the composition. And now essentially we have control over the color of that dust. So right now it's black instead of white, but we could at any moment go back, select white, and switch between those. But obviously you could select any color you want. If for whatever reason you want to have some red, you could do that right there, and those scratches will be red. Right now I'm just gonna select black. It's often common that once you play it on top of your footage, the effect might be too pronounced or less pronounced. So you can, again, always go back to the fast noise and here, for example, increase or decrease the scale to make it more visible into your video. Another thing you might want to do is adding some blur. So here I'm going to make some space between my bitmap and the background. And then here we're going to hit Shift Space on our keyboard and we're going to search for blur and bring that in. And then here I'm going to unlink the output of my bitmap and link it to the yellow arrow of the blur. And then I'm going to link the output of that blur to the background. And now basically if I bring the blur up to the screen and find a frame with quite a few scratches, as you can see now we have control with that blur to basically blur those scratches and dust and fine tune it as we want. So right now I'm just going to decrease it a little bit like that. And as you can see, those scratches and dust are quite subtle. If you want to make the white pop a little more, you can use a glow node. So here I will just make some space between my blur and my background. I will select my blur and hit Shift Space on my keyboard and I'm gonna search for a glow node and bring that in. Now you can bring the blend up to 1. Can bring the glow size down to 0, and then first here I'm gonna move the view to my glow, and as you can see it gives a considerable boost to the white. So if you want to make it pop a little bit more, that would be the way to go about it. In my case, I'm simply gonna revert those change and go back to what we had before. And we're pretty much done about the creation of the effect. Now it's mostly just some fine tuning and playing with some parameter to really get the kind of pattern that you want. And I mentioned earlier that usually I like to combine two. Right now this one is quite general with some random stripe and stuff. And I would like to have one to create some like really thin distorted line. So to do that, I'm gonna start by selecting here my bitmap, my blur and my background, copy them. And then I'm gonna paste instance. So basically they share the same parameter as the first one that we've created. Then I'm going to link the output of that instance background to my media in. And then here I'm going to select my two fast nodes and my displays, copy them and paste them. And we're going to link the output of that displays to the instance bitmap. Now if I bring the fast noise 1 to the screen and select only the fast noise 1, I'm gonna make some adjustment to the patterns. So here I'm gonna unlock the X and Y, and I'm gonna just increase the X scale to have some very thin stripe here going on, and then I'm gonna decrease the Y scale to extend those smaller stripe. And overplayed, as you can see, we get those tiny stretched lines that are going down, and we're basically gonna go to the displays, bring that to the viewer, and now we've used the displays to move those lines around and create more of those thin stripe. I'm not really happy with the result that we have now, so we're just gonna go to the displays and we're gonna adjust the X refraction to make it not as strong, and same here with the Y refraction. Because as you can see here, if I increase the X refraction to the maximum, it just creates that random weird pattern. That could be nice depending on what you try to achieve. But right now I try to get closer to a look of like a hair that will just being dropped, for example, on the negative. And I'm happier with that result. As you can see, the line are not, you know, completely weird. They are still following like a pretty straight direction, and I'm happy with that. Now we can go back to our media out and see the final result. I'm happy with this. I think it looks fine. But again, feel free to adjust this by playing here in the fast noise with the brightness and the scale, and here in the displays with the Y refraction and especially the X refraction. That's the main parameter that you need to pay attention to create that effect. Now this is great, but that's the effect only on its own. Usually it's better when used in combination with different other elements. The first one being film grain. So here I'm gonna select my merge 2, it's shifts based on my keyboard, and I'm gonna just bring some grain, film grain like this one. And then the other aspect will be the color grading. So try to color grade it with like a vintage look, or bring like a lot that will emulate, like for example, some Kodak film. In our case, for the sake of simplicity, we're just going to use the film damage node. So here I'm going to select film grain, it's shift space on our keyboard, and I'm going to just search for film and bring that in. Now, in the film damage, there is a bunch of stuff that we don't want that we're going to deactivate in a second. I want it mostly to add some temperature shift and tint shift, as well as some vignetting. As you can see here, we have already a dirt effect. So if I'm disconnecting what we've just created, just to show you, as you can see, we already have some dirt or dust with that parameter, but it doesn't emulate really the pattern that we've created with this technique. That's why I shared that with you instead of that. But if you're too afraid of doing whatever I shared with you right now, you could definitely just use that, and that would be one way to do it. However, maybe instead of this, I would recommend maybe to use the very first technique that I shared with you in this video. But in our case, we're simply gonna just bring the dirt density down to the minimum so it's not on screen, and then for the scratches that is right there, we're gonna remove it completely as well by bringing the scratch strength to 0. And now we're basically left only with the look created by the film damage with the vignetting and the temperature shift right there. And that's pretty much it. Hope this video was helpful. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know in the comment what kind of video you'd like to see next, and see you in the next one. Bye. Speed up your workflow and create better videos using the pack available on our website, including titles, transition, and templates built only for Davinci Resolve. Get started today by downloading our free starter pack that contains over 150 elements. Link in the description below or at videoeditorstudio.com.